So yeah, this video right here is going to be called The Canvas. I call it The Canvas because in society, I feel like this is my theory. I feel like we've been deceived as to thinking this world is what it is. And the reason why I feel like the powers that be have a lot to gain by deceiving you, because ultimate deception means having the power of God. Because see, it's not to say that God is the deceiver or whoever you want to look at God as, or Horus or Heru or whatever. It's just to say that those people or entities want to play the role of God by trapping resources, honing in on the resources, taking over historical knowledge, spearheading everything that could describe to you as who you are and what your meaning in this world is. They took over that narrative. So now whatever you think you are has been told to you. This is why I keep saying that in these videos. It's being told to you by the victors of war. And that's why war is necessary, because after war, you can then take over and inseminate yourself within that culture and then turn that culture to something else, to something you want it to be. And I hate referring to the Bible with this same old quote, because there's so many other things in the Bible, but I'm not on a religious kick either. But I hate to refer to the same old quote, but it's so true because they still doing it. Anything you see in the beginning in the Genesis, they in the beginning of that book, they still doing it. It's just like a formula to keep doing something to people. It's in the beginning, and it's not something you just look past and say, "What's other stories?" Yeah, but what they're doing, they've been doing. So, like I said in the book, when they say, "Let us make man out of our own likeness," they still doing that. They making you to out whatever they want you to be, because the victor of war can do that. Now, if you look back in the Bible and they talk about it was a void and it was darkness, well, usually after a war, shit is fucked up, right? Like, it doesn't mean all life is wiped out. That means that there's some life still left, but it was in fact some type of war. Life was left. It was some life left there. The winners were the ones that were able to rewrite history and write the future. So whatever was left, they said, hey, let us make man out of our own likeness. If something was dark and then it become light, does it mean that it was just some darkness and then it flashed a light? Or does that mean the canvas was already here and the darkness was brought forth by entities that had been here that took over the creation story so that you will never understand it? Because it has nothing to do with what they've been telling you. What they've been telling you was when a victor comes out of a war situation, how they can make people into their own likeness. Because now they've come out of a war and there's still some people around and they can make them out of their own likeness. And this is what they're doing today. They go to war in another country. This is what they've been doing all over the world. They've been doing this. Powers that be, whatever you want to call them, all over the world. And what they do is they take over. And when they take over, whoever the winner is going to write history. Whoever the winner is going to rape the women and go into the women and make them kids like that. Whoever the winner is going to take over the educational system. Whoever the winner is going to take over the monetary system. So now what it once was is no more. It is the way they made it to be. So when you look at that whole thing up in the book and it's saying that, try not to look at it in a way that it's so that you use it too much imagination when it's just common sense and it really ain't nothing. It's just motherfuckers came and they just decided that they was gonna be the victor, so they gave you the book. The victors gave you the book. Because if I won and then the motherfucker can't come in here and tell you it wasn't that, then I can say that this is what happened in the beginning. I could tell you what happened in the beginning. I could tell you what's going to happen in the end, because I'm the one in control of you. The victor is the one that writes history. The victor is the one that writes his story. You know what I'm saying? So it's a story, and it's his story because he won. Now, if somebody else come through and win, they're going to change the story up because that's what happens. That's what always been happening throughout time and civilizations being conquered. People being conquered. Their whole history is being rewritten. And so now they're shaping their lives off of what somebody told them their history was, like they was there and they knew exactly what happened to a T. When they don't. They was just telling you. So when I say canvas, I say that this shit is an empty canvas, a flat canvas. And the victors are the ones that can rewrite history the way they want it to be on this canvas we call Earth. They just paint their own picture of the canvas. And I'm going to make everybody think it's this when it's that. That's the only way they can stay in power. They got to make you think it's the opposite of what it really is. So if the earth is round, it's not. It's the opposite of that. You got to understand that is why they do that. That's why they do it. They have to take you off of what you naturally could understand and what could be something that's natural to something that's complicated and superficial and artificial to suit their needs to stay in power. Look at everything going around you and you will see that. But yet people don't want to look at that. So it's like this. Like I said, it's like you take a dome, you put a whole bunch of people in it, and they'd be different people, and then you start saying, okay, this is how your history went. Okay, that's how your history went. Okay, they did this. And then you leave little fucking trails around so they can go see, well, we did find this, and they did do that. Yeah, those little clues, and then they get the archaeologists that they fund to go out there and say, look what we found. We found this. And you can't tell you everything because we're just going to tell you what we want you to know. And that's going to shape your thought process. Your thought process is going to be half-assed, not complete. Same thing with the mathematics they're giving you. Everything is going to be short process, and it's going to be like, we're going to give it to you like that. So when somebody come to you and they tell you, hey, yo, this not where it's supposed to be, then you're going to go, you sound like the devil in the Garden of Eden because you referring to a book. So then all of a sudden now, I sound like the devil in the Garden of Eden, which to me was a pretty smart motherfucker if you want to look at it that way. Because basically you say, hey, y'all being lied to. Hey, y'all, you need to check this out over here because that bullshit right there. But then you got the Adams of the world that's going, yeah, no, man. You lying. Ain't nobody doing nothing to me like that. It's funny. It's funny. But when you look in the Bible, you look at the victim mentality that it creates within the beholder of the reader. So now you become a victim and a wretch as opposed to a person that is really discovering things, a person that's really discovering himself or herself. You become a victim. And when you look at it, everything that God is talking to Adam and Eve about and what he's doing is a dictator. Like he's over their life. Like they're really rich. And he's like this entity that's, I'm a jealous God and I'm a this, that do what he want to do. But yet you're supposed to set the example because it's supposed to be made out of your image. But you're doing all this wicked shit. You know, killing kids, allowing kids to get raped and, Passover, all that shit that God was letting go on and killing and murdering and playing tricks with Isaac and his son and all that joke shit. Oh, yeah, well, you can kill your son, but all that shit is the same thing that shows me that's what society has relegated themselves to. They relegated themselves to a person that's going to be fearful of something they don't even know truly exists because they can't even give themselves the credit to who they are because they don't know who they are. They don't want to because the people that have rewrote history, the entities that rewrote history, the winners of the war, because it had to been a war. The winners of the war has now shaped you the way they want you to be.